21 hours. That is how long the United States and Iran spoke in Islamabad. 21 hours. And yet, not even a basic agreement. So the question is simple. Were these talks meant to succeed, or were they always meant to fail? These were not routine diplomatic talks. This was the first direct, high-level engagement between the United States and Iran in years, taking place against the backdrop of an active conflict and a fragile ceasefire. The stakes were enormous. A war had already disrupted global oil supply, destabilized West Asia, and brought the world dangerously close to a wider escalation. And yet, despite the urgency, the talks collapsed. Reason 1. The nuclear deadlock. At the heart of the failure was one single issue: Iran's nuclear program. The United States, led by Vice President J.D. Vance, demanded a clear, long-term commitment from Iran that it would never develop nuclear weapons. Not just a pause, not just a delay, but a permanent assurance. Iran refused. For Tehran, this was not just a technical demand. It was a question of sovereignty, deterrence, and regional power. And that is where the talks hit a wall. Core reason 2. Final offer versus unacceptable terms. The U.S. came with what it called a final and best offer, but Iran saw it very differently. To Tehran, the demands were excessive, unrealistic, and one-sided. This is the classic problem in geopolitics. When one side calls it a final offer, the other side often sees it as a forced surrender. Core reason 3. Trust deficit. Let's be honest. The U.S. and Iran are not just negotiating adversaries. They are historical rivals with decades of mistrust. The U.S. withdrew from the earlier nuclear deal in 2018. Iran responded by expanding its nuclear capabilities. Since then, every negotiation has carried baggage. So even when both sides sit across the table, they are not negotiating just the present. They are negotiating history. Core reason 4. Conflicting strategic goals. The United States wants zero nuclear weapon capability, limits on Iran's missile program, reduced regional influence. Iran wants sanctions relief, strategic autonomy, recognition as a regional power. These are not minor differences. These are structural contradictions. And structural contradictions cannot be resolved in 21 hours. Core reason 5. The shadow of war. Even as talks were happening, military preparations continued. Naval deployments were active. Threats were not off the table. So what kind of negotiation is this? One where diplomacy speaks. But the military stands ready in the background. That changes the psychology completely. It becomes less about compromise and more about leverage. Let's step back. Did anyone really expect a breakthrough in 21 hours? Even Iran admitted that a deal in one round was unlikely. So what were these talks really about? Not peace, but positioning. The U.S. wanted to demonstrate firmness. Iran wanted to demonstrate resistance. Both sides walked away without conceding. So here is the real takeaway. The collapse of these talks is not a failure of diplomacy. It is a reflection of reality. When trust is broken, when objectives clash, and when war remains an option, peace talks become symbolic, not transformational. The ceasefire still hangs by a thread. The world is watching. But the real question is this: are we witnessing the beginning of a longer negotiation process, or just a pause before the next escalation? If you value deep, independent analysis like this, do like, subscribe, and join HW News Network.